Sylvia Plath Poems by Mónica, Camila, and Daniel Massu. This is a poem called Words by Sylvia Plath. Initial thought of title. The poem is written entirely in a metaphor, so the title is very important to its meaning. It is about how meaningful words are and how they cause a rush of emotions. The purpose of Sylvia Plath writing this poem is to talk about the importance of words. The structure. This poem is made up of 4 stanzas of 5 lines each, with no rhyme scheme, a typical Plath construction. The lines are short, some one word, with spare phrases and sentences, not a word is wasted. The punctuation of the poem is important because it makes the poem lines short and has an effect on making the poem fast and to the point.
Words by Sylvia Plath is a poem that speaks about how her life tries to return to normality. So words were always part of her very being, and she also speaks about how it is impossible for her to recover completely, or at least settle where she was before. She also expresses the idea of lifelessness and how the power and purpose behind the words is gone, but now, however, they are dry and rudderless and have no effect. They are old and worn. So it's as if the words seem to have taken a power of their own outside the control of their creator. So this is basically the summary of the poem Words by Sylvia Plath. And the target audience is pretty much anyone since words matter to everyone. There is no clear setting or location in time or place. The only character in this poem is Sylvia Plath, since she is clearly the narrator, and she speaks about her own feelings and emotions. And the speaker is Sylvia Plath, which is portrayed as a very dark, sad, and quiet person. So let's take a look at the theme of the poems. So the themes of the poem is how words cause pain, how words can heal, and how words can cause you to relieve memories. And at the end of the day, words can last a lifetime. So it's clearly descriptive in this poem how words have taken a very important part of Sylvia Plath's life. The mood and tone are pretty much similar, since the tone is depressing and is achieved by the poet expressing her negativity about words and time, and the mood is sad and the atmosphere is dull as well due to the poet's negativity in the second part of the poem. So in the second stanza, the mood is a little bit quieter.
So, sound and rhythm. The sound of this poem is short and fast due to the short lines in all of the stanzas and the punctuation which causes it to be fast. The rhythm of this poem. There's no specific rhythm because it is free verse and no rhyme, so there's no rhyming words which would cause a rhythm. So, language and diction. There are overlapping metaphors that describe the pain caused by unkindness and harsh words. Typically of Plath, she weaves her imagery through the poem. So, for example, the water simile in stanza 2 is picked up again in the last stanza with her reference to the pool and fixed stars. The horse image in the first stanza is developed in the last. Plath seems to weave a pattern that suggests inevitability and defeatism. Overall, she uses non-complex words such as mirror, horses, etc. An interesting word that she uses is indefatigable, which means when someone is working tirelessly. Literary devices. Simile. There's a comparison when it says the following. The sap wells like tears. Here the poet is comparing how the tree sap is flowing out like tears. Echoes traveling off from the center like horses is another example. Here the poet compares how echoes are traveling fast like horses, using like. So, metaphors. A comparison not using like or as. Water trying to re-establish its mirror. Here the poet is comparing water to a mirror, not using like or as it is used in simile. Imagery. Wood rings. This is imagery because the rings of the tree create an image in one's head of what it looks like. There is a lot of imagery throughout the whole poem. All the literary devices mentioned in this slide, for example, also express imagery to show what the things look like. For example, the tree sap and how it flows. Or, as shown in the second slide, in the poem it says white skull. This shows how the skull is white and causes imagery. Personification. For example, echoes traveling is personification because echoes cannot travel. Traveling is used for human actions, and it is commonly used for echoes to represent how the echoes spread. Words dry and riderless is personification because words cannot be dry or riderless. These are things applied to human actions.